The USS Indianapolis was a Portland-class heavy cruiser in the United States Navy. It was one of the most formidable ships of its time, equipped with powerful armaments and advanced technology. The ship had seen numerous battles and had a storied history of bravery and resilience. Its crew was composed of seasoned sailors and officers who were well-versed in naval warfare and operations. In the summer of 1945, it was tasked with a top-secret mission, delivering components of the atomic bomb to the island of Tinian. This mission was of utmost importance and was shrouded in secrecy. The components were crucial for the assembly of the bomb that would later be dropped on Hiroshima, a decisive action aimed at bringing the war to a swift end. This mission was vital to ending World War II. The success of this operation could potentially save countless lives by hastening the conclusion of the conflict. The stakes were incredibly high, and the crew of the Indianapolis understood the gravity of their task, even if they didn't know all the details. The crew knew the importance of their cargo, though the exact nature of it remained a secret. They were aware that they were carrying something of immense value and significance, but the specifics were only known to a select few. This secrecy was necessary to ensure the success of the mission and to protect the lives of those involved. They successfully delivered the components and set off on their next assignment. The delivery was executed flawlessly, and the crew felt a sense of accomplishment. However, their mission was far from over, and they had to remain vigilant as they continued their journey. The Indianapolis left Tinian on July 28, 1945, heading towards Leyte Gulf in the Philippines. The journey was expected to be routine, but the crew remained on high alert, aware of the ever-present dangers of wartime navigation. They were scheduled to meet up with other ships for training exercises. These exercises were crucial for maintaining combat readiness and ensuring that the crew could respond effectively to any threats. The training was rigorous and demanding, but it was essential for their survival. The crew was unaware of the danger that awaited them. They went about their daily routines, performing their duties with the professionalism and dedication that had become their hallmark. Little did they know that their journey would soon take a tragic turn. Deep beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, a Japanese submarine, the I-58, was on patrol. The submarine was a formidable adversary, equipped with torpedoes capable of inflicting devastating damage. Its crew was experienced and determined, ready to strike at any moment. The paths of the Indianapolis and the I-58 were about to collide in a horrific tragedy. The stage was set for a confrontation that would have dire consequences, not just for the ship and its crew, but for the course of the war itself. The fate of the Indianapolis hung in the balance as it sailed unknowingly towards its destiny. On July 30th, just after midnight, disaster struck. The I-58, commanded by Mochitsura Hashimoto, spotted the Indianapolis on its radar. Two torpedoes ripped into the starboard side of the American cruiser. The explosions were catastrophic. The Indianapolis was thrown violently and fires raged across the ship. The force of the explosions knocked out power, crippling communication systems. The ship, mortally wounded, began to sink rapidly. Chaos engulfed the crew as they scrambled to abandon ship. Many were thrown into the water, some with injuries from the explosions. The Indianapolis sank in just 12 minutes, taking with it hundreds of men trapped below deck. Of the nearly 1,200 men aboard the Indianapolis, roughly 900 were thrown into the water. Many were injured, covered in oil, and clinging to debris. The survivors faced a harrowing ordeal, lost at sea, with limited supplies and no life rafts. They huddled together in small groups for support, battling the elements and exhaustion. Days turned into nights as the men drifted in their life jackets. The hot sun beat down on them during the day, and the cold ocean chilled them at night. Thirst became unbearable, and hunger gnawed at their stomachs. Sharks circled relentlessly, drawn by the scent of blood and the thrashing of desperate men. As if the scorching sun and lack of food and water weren't enough, the survivors of the Indianapolis faced another terrifying threat: sharks. Drawn by the commotion and the scent of blood in the water, sharks began to circle the groups of men. The attacks were swift and brutal. Men were pulled under the water, never to be seen again. The screams of those attacked echoed through the water, a constant reminder of the danger that lurked below. The sharks, primarily oceanic whitetips, were relentless in their pursuit. The survivors did their best to fight back, kicking and punching at the predators, but the attacks took a devastating toll, both physically and psychologically. The relentless sunburn and dehydration added to their misery, making it harder to stay afloat and keep their heads above water. Despair was etched on their faces, as hope began to fade. They huddled together trying to support each other in the face of overwhelming odds. As night fell, the darkness brought a new level of terror. The cold water sapped their strength, leaving them shivering and weak. Even in the dark, the sharks continued to circle, their presence a constant threat. With the break of dawn, a glimmer of hope appeared on the horizon. A rescue ship approached, and the men signaled frantically for help. One by one they were pulled from the water, relief washing over their faces. Exhausted but safe, they finally found solace on the deck of the ship. The vast ocean, once a scene of terror, now lay calm and serene. For days the survivors of the Indianapolis clung to life. They battled dehydration, starvation, the relentless sun, and the ever-present threat of shark attacks. Hope began to dwindle with each passing hour. However, fate intervened on August 2nd. A Navy patrol plane piloted by Lieutenant Wilbur Chuck Gwynn was on a routine anti-submarine patrol. By chance, Gwynn spotted an oil slick in the water. He descended to investigate, and to his astonishment he saw a large group of men scattered in the ocean. Gwynn immediately radioed for help, and the rescue operation began. Section 6. The Rescue and the Aftermath. The USS Cecil Doyle, a destroyer escort, was the first ship to arrive on the scene. The crew of the Cecil Doyle couldn't believe their eyes. Hundreds of men, many delirious and badly injured, were scattered across the ocean surface. The rescue operation was fraught with danger. Sharks continued to circle, and the men were weak and disoriented. The Cecil Doyle and other ships that arrived later carefully pulled the survivors from the water. Out of the nearly 900 men who had gone into the water, only 317 were rescued. The rest had succumbed to the elements, injuries, exhaustion, or shark attacks. Section 7. Justice and Remembrance. The sinking of the USS Indianapolis and the ordeal of its survivors remained largely unknown to the public for years after the war. The ship had just completed a top-secret mission, delivering components of the atomic bomb that would later be dropped on Hiroshima. This mission was so secretive that the ship's movements were not fully tracked, and its disappearance went unnoticed for several days. The Navy, in an attempt to protect the secrecy of the atomic bomb mission, did not immediately launch a search and rescue operation when the Indianapolis failed to arrive at Leyte Gulf on schedule. This delay proved fatal for many of the crew members who were left stranded in shark-infested waters, battling dehydration, exposure, and injuries. Captain Charles B. McVeigh III, the captain of the Indianapolis, was court-martialed and found guilty of hazarding his ship by failing to zigzag. This decision was met with widespread criticism, as many believed McVeigh was being used as a scapegoat for the Navy's own failures. This verdict was controversial, as evidence later emerged that the Navy had contributed to the disaster by failing to provide adequate warnings about enemy submarine activity in the area. Additionally, it was revealed that the Japanese submarine commander who sank the Indianapolis had testified that zigzagging would not have prevented the attack. McVeigh was eventually exonerated by Congress in 2000, clearing his name after decades of unjust blame. This exoneration was a significant moment of justice and remembrance, not only for McVeigh but also for the survivors and families of those who perished. It served as a reminder of the complexities and tragedies of war, and the importance of seeking truth and accountability. Section 8. The Indianapolis Legacy. The story of the USS Indianapolis is one of immense tragedy, incredible survival, and enduring controversy. It serves as a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who served in World War II, and the lasting impact that war can have on those who lived through it. The sinking of the Indianapolis remains the Navy's single largest loss of life at sea. The survivors of the Indianapolis, forever bonded by their shared experience, have worked tirelessly to ensure that the memory of their shipmates and the lessons learned from the tragedy are never forgotten. Section 9. Courage in the face of fear. Despite the horrors they faced, the survivors of the USS Indianapolis displayed remarkable courage and resilience. They faced unimaginable terrors, from the sinking of their ship to the relentless attacks of sharks, and still, they found the will to survive. Their story is a testament to the strength of the human spirit, the importance of hope even in the darkest of times, and the enduring bonds of brotherhood forged in the face of adversity. The legacy of the USS Indianapolis continues to inspire awe and respect, reminding us of the sacrifices made by those who served their country and the importance of honoring their memory.